Hello and welcome to the Redcat 64 Quick Start Guide. Today I'll be walking you through the features and functions of the Redcat 64, getting you ready to cruise. First thing we're going to want to do is take the sleeve off the box. I recommend doing this by standing the box up on end and just sliding it off. Set the sleeve aside. Here's the inner box. This box does a great job of keeping the car safe, so we recommend using it for transporting the car for storage. It also doubles as a great display stand. We'll go ahead and take the top off. And the first thing you'll see is the accessory bag with your manual and your decal sheet. We'll go ahead and set that aside. And then in the top foam piece here, you've got a radio compartment. Pull this little chunk out, and there's your radio. And before you can actually use the car, you're going to need to flip the radio over, open this compartment, and install 4 AA batteries. Let's go ahead and do that. Set the radio aside for right now. Now let's go ahead and take off this top layer of foam and see the car for the first time. There she is. So you're going to want to get it out of the box by putting your hand down between the back side of the car and the foam here and just pull up. Once you get it about 20 degrees up, you can just slide it out. There she is. There's your car. We'll go ahead and set this aside and go through the other things that are in the box. So in the box you have your USB battery charger. This will charge your battery from completely flat to full in about 6 hours. If you want to go faster than that, we recommend getting a higher power nickel metal battery charger. You're going to need to get one that has a battery connector that looks like this one, a red banana plug. We recommend several that we sell on our website, redcatracing.com, which are the HX-705 or the HX-N802. But also included in the box is an adapter to use a Molex plug with other chargers you may already have. This is also sometimes called a Tamiya connector. Also in the box we have a USB to serial cable. So this is for updating the firmware of the radio if there's a future firmware update available. We have a pack of 4 steel plates that are designed to fit in the battery compartment of the car. This is to add ballast to the back of the car if you add weight to the front. So if in your customization of the car it doesn't quite hop as well as you'd want it to anymore, you can change the weight bias and get it where you want it using these plates. And of course we have the Hexfly 3800 nickel metal battery. This is a 6-cell battery, 7.2 volts, and is the power for this car. So we'll go ahead and keep this out, and we're going to set the rest of the box aside. Now, to install the battery, we're going to need to take the body off of the car. So to do this, we're actually going to take that top layer of foam and flip it upside down. And with it upside down, you have this nice cutout that you can use as a stand for holding the car upside down without scratching anything, and it'll hold it steady. So we'll go ahead and set it in that cutout like so. There she is. And go ahead and take out the body pins. You've got 4 body pins, 2 front, 2 rear. Once you get the first one out, if you want, you can use it as a tool to pull on the other ones. Get them out, save yourself a little bit of strain on your fingers. And now that they're out, we'll go ahead and pull the chassis away from the rest of the car. So you'll want to take one hand and grab the front suspension cross member here. Hold on to that and then push down on the front body posts here and it pops right out. You can lift it up a little bit and you'll see the cutouts for the rear body posts in the chassis are actually oval shaped so that as you're rotating this up, it doesn't bind up on anything. So you just rotate this up a little bit. And I like to grab it by this trunk area and just pull straight up. And there you have your chassis. And your body is separate now. So let's go ahead and put the body aside for a second. Let's stay on the critical path to getting you driving. We'll go ahead and install the battery. So the battery is not fully charged out of the box. You want to go ahead and charge that up. But then you'll just slip it underneath your Redcat battery strap here in the battery compartment at the back of the car. I like to do it with the wires coming out of the battery facing the passenger side of the car. That way the wiring works out to just the right length so that when you plug it in, you don't have any extra wires flopping around or anything getting in the way. And when you tighten this down, you want to make sure that your battery strap is tight up against the battery so that it doesn't interfere with the body mount on the rear bumper. Now, one more thing before we get going, while I've got it like this, I want to show you how to reinstall the interior. If you take the interior off for whatever reason, it's held on with hook and loop tape to the chassis. So if you take it off to customize it or to mess with the electronics or do whatever you're going to do, there's no way just by looking at this to get this recentered perfectly. There's no guide anywhere on the chassis to fit that back in. So what you have to do is when you go to reinstall the chassis into the body or the body onto the chassis, whichever way you look at it, you actually take your body still upside down and place the interior in it, and it will self-center. It fits real nicely in there, won't move around. And then you can just reinstall your chassis in the opposite direction that we installed or took it out. So hold it by the trunk, slide the rear end first, slowly lower it down, making sure that the sides of the body don't get caught right here on the chassis. You don't want to get anything bent out of shape. And go ahead and click it into place and go ahead and push your body pins in. I like to do them with the little loops going outside, makes it easier to remove them in the future. You may need to press down on the chassis and pull up on the body or twist the bumper a little bit to actually get the body post to go far enough in that you can install the pin. Sometimes it just needs a little extra help. Now that connection is very tight because we don't want the body to flop around at all when you're driving around. So there's always going to be a little bit of tension in that joint there. And that's it. Car's all back together. She's ready to go for a drive. Let's go out and take her for a spin. All right, so let's get this thing going. First thing you're going to do is switch on your radio, like so. Now you may recall from looking at the chassis that the on-off switch is on the inside. It's just underneath the driver's seat on the left side of the chassis, right about here. Now, you just flex the body out and you reach under there to turn it on. When you're turning the car on, make sure you're not touching the throttle stick. You need to give it at least 3 seconds for the ESC to calibrate before you touch the throttle stick. Now the car's turned on, and in a wide open area away from any obstacles, you can start experimenting with the controls of the 64. As you see, you have control over forward and reverse. You got left and right steering. And then you've got ride height control over the front, the rear left, the rear right. And you got a couple switches that will put the front and rear to their maximum position momentarily, which is how you hop. And that's it. Enjoy your new 64 and have fun experimenting with what you can do.